can you tell us a little bit about this situation with Qualcomm? And I can't remember who the other company you mentioned was. You know, you said this deal's kind of falling apart at the moment. I mean, how are you trading around that?
You know, one of the mistakes that I've made is I'll call it the cost of time being sunk in, or time sunk cost. The more time that I put into something, and the more money I invest in it, the more research I do with it, the harder it is for me to change my mind on it, if that makes any sense. So the short story in this, again, this is 19 months that I'm going to try to sum up in 2 minutes. The short story is Qualcomm tried to buy this company, NXPI. They needed 9 different countries to approve this deal. 8 of the 9 countries agreed, and 1 country did not, and that was China. And what ended up happening was it got very wound up and wrapped up in all sorts of different international conflicts that are currently happening between the United States and China and Trump and, you know, and Chairman Xi. And I have found myself at points, you know, head spinning over this thing, and I've gone to drastic measures to try and gain an edge in this, and the only result has been that it's just made me crazy. And, you know, if you want to, I can tell you about some of these drastic measures.
Sure, yeah.
So, you know, and again, you have to stay within the confines of legality, right? You know, so there was a point in this story where the Wall Street Journal broke a story that said that Qualcomm executives were waiting for the 10-4 from China to fly over there and finalize the deal. So in my mind at that point, the signal that I wanted to see was the Qualcomm plane taking off from San Diego, California, and going to China. And now there's various services that track these sort of private planes. But in this case, that wasn't possible. And the reason that wasn't possible was because Qualcomm themselves blocks the tail number on their plane. So the next thing the only other option you have then at this point is, and again, this was a story that I had made up in my head, was that the only way to track this plane is to physically be out there in San Diego and watch it take off. And so I literally just posted we have something called TaskRabbit. I don't know if you guys have that there, but
we've got something similar, yeah.
Okay, so I posted something on TaskRabbit, and the TaskRabbit post read something like, go to this airport and watch this plane take off and send me a video of it. And I got a response in about 15 seconds. And this woman who was, just a mother of 3, she would drop her kids off at school, and she would go to the airport, and she sat there at the airport for me day after day after day after day. And she was probably there for like a week. And I had to deal with her, and the deal was this. I'm going to pay you this much a day, and if you get a video of this plane taking off, I'll give you this bonus money, this big bonus money. And she calls me a week later, and she says, it's happening. And, you know, you're probably wondering, well, how did I know where the plane was going, right? That's the big question. They have this plane. How would I know? And the thing is, you don't. But the way that, and again, I was making a lot of this up, perhaps, Qualcomm has 2 planes. One is for short distances, and one is for long distances. And so I was tracking the big one. And the big one took off, and she sent me a video of this. And of course, she sent me the video of this at like 3:45 on a Friday, where I have 15 minutes to make up my mind of what I want to do with this situation. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff that can make you crazy. And because you think you have this piece of information that no one has, you think, well, what if it happens this weekend and I don't take advantage of it? So I had better do that now. And not only that, but I was so mentally wrapped up in this thing. I was so like emotionally committed to it, like it was a person, this trade, that I wasn't thinking rationally. And of course, I ended up putting on a large position. The deal is still not happening. And, it's probably taken a few years off my life just watching this situation unfold.